Hi everybody, great to see you again.
Afternoon, Christopher.
Hi, darling.
G'day, mate.
I was talking to the people watching.
Sorry.
Desperate for attention, isn't he? Well, let's give Marky some attention. So, we're just going to do something off the cuff. And I've got 3 of Mark's sons here with me. And it's wonderful to have them. And they've all been immersed. And so we're going to just go through a word that Yahusha gave me this morning. And we're just going to see what happens. Now, as we go through this, guys, since you've been immersed, you've had an experience, yeah? So, I believe there's a devil, and I believe there are demons, and they want to get you guys and kill you. I don't think you're aware of that, eh? You are? So you've got that in your experience, yeah? What about you?
Yeah.
Okay, so no matter what you do or say, they're going to be there to get you, you know? So as we go through this word, I don't want you to be worried about what the audience thinks. I don't want you to take anything that I say personally, because it's just knowledge and information from the scripture. So there's nothing there to hurt you or put you down. I just want, if you want to say something, to say it and share it. Because this is actually going global. And there's lots of people that have come in to the walk, and some people are responding to the 3 rules and putting them to their life, which is fabulous, isn't it? When you think about that, that's going on globally. So you guys on this tape are global. So I just want you to get into the study we're going to do. And if you want to say something, say it. Don't feel any pressure. That's for everybody. Don't feel any pressure. But make sure you don't take anything personal. What rule is that?
Number 2.
Yeah. Rule number 1, don't take anything personal. Because from this study, there's nothing pointed towards you. It's just information. Right? So we're all going to play some sort of role in it as we go. Now, have you got your phone? Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you got your phone?
No. The boys
These
have
2
phones.
boys have phones. It's
They have
one.
phones.
Oh, good.
Bring your phones out, boys.
Do you want to read over this or not? You don't feel like that, or you do? I don't care. I don't think so. No. I'll get Mark to read this. The word I got this morning was allowed. Like I'm not loud, but allowed to do something. You know? I'm sitting out there in the balcony, and I was thinking of you guys actually, about what we allow ourselves to do. And I wanted to know what the meaning of the word allow was, because I didn't know. So I asked Victoria to get a phone, and she got a phone, and this is what allow means. So I want you to put on your thinking cap, don't worry about the people or anything, and just think if this has got any effect on you. Yeah? Slowly.
Allow in the Hebrew language means to deposit, to allow to stay, to bestow or cast down, lay down or lay up.
This is in the Hebrew. This is the original language they used to speak, and it's inspired by Yahuwah, this language. So it's a word coming to us from him.
To leave off or let alone, to remain, to pacify or place or put, to set down, to suffer, withdraw or withhold, to sever oneself, to be dislocated, to abandon, to impale, and thus allow to drop to pieces by rotting, to be alienated, to depart, to hang up, be out of joint, to allow to remain, to leave, or let alone.
What does that do when you read that? Does it you pick up on anything from Yahusha, or I didn't know it meant all that.
No. Towards the end, it's like it's a negative thing. Well, no, I guess it doesn't need to be negative because it's to impale, to abandon, to be alienated, to depart, to hang out, be out of joint, to be separating yourself, kind of thing. And that's not a bad thing, actually. That's what Yahusha's doing to all of us. If you're doing it yourself out of a mood or hiding something, some kind of wickedness, that's negative. But if Yahusha's separating you, that's a positive. Dividing and separating. He's been doing that ever since we've been immersed. Separating us unto himself.
It's like you want to get away. It's like getting away from something. Like you can get out of things. That was what I thought.
That's good, Don. When it talks about impale, what comes to your mind then?
Pick up your pole, pick up your stake, and follow me. If you're not impaled like it, you've got to die to yourself.
So where does that happen? Anyone know? When
Yahusha was nailed.
He was, yeah, so we have to follow him. And where did he tell us to go?
The water.
And what's impaled at the bottom of the water? Our old. That's it. Very good. So that's impaled at the bottom of the water. So we come up as a new living creature, right? But when we come up, we've still got habits and sorts of things in us, right? And what does Yahusha want to do about that?
Get rid of them. Basically flog us and chastise us, rebuke us until we've gotten the world out of us.
That's very good. Yeah. So you feel what's going on, what the thinking is by looking up one word, allow?
I'm still having trouble connecting it with allow though. Like,
You are?
yeah, like all that makes sense, but to use the word allow in a sentence.
All right, well, how could you make sense out of it?
I'm allowing myself to be, I'm allowing myself to be impaled. I'm allowed to go on this path, and no one can stop. I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
No one can stop me.
True.
No, the peanut gallery, nobody around it can. I'm allowed to.
That's right.
I guess you could use it like that.
Well, when you look at the world, how people feel in the world about this, can you see any of them wanting to go and have the old man impaled under the water and left to die and come up new and then start what? What's the name of our
Behaving.
start a behaviour?
No, they love their life.
How does
They
it-
love it. They don't want to.
Themselves.
Yeah, so, but everybody here has gone in the water because they're allowed to and they've made the choice to. now that you come up and the battle's on. Because where does Satan, or what does Satan want to do with every man and woman?
Destroy them.
Yeah.
Just ruin their lives, make them miserable.
By taking captive what?
Their vessel and their hearts and minds.
The hearts and minds of men. So it's a battle. You know? And we've got two languages in the world. There's the truth, the scripture, and then there's lies that's against that. There's only really two languages in the world. Doesn't matter what language you speak. It's only truth and lies. What you're going to speak. Isn't it?
Definitely.
So, where does allow fit in there?
Well, you can allow yourself to believe the truth, or you can allow yourself to believe the lies. The choice is yours.
Exactly. Exactly. Spot on. So, what don't we know because we're getting into trouble?
What don't we know because we're getting into trouble?
Yeah. Do you want to pick out something wrong about that?
No, I didn't understand. I don't
Do
think.
you now?
No.
Still don't.
What don't we know?
We don't know the truth. We're not seeing the truth. We're not allowing ourselves to see it.
So what you allow yourself, I mean, the wheat's planted and it grows and it bears fruit, and then the gifts come. Fruit is maturity, when you bear the fruit of the scriptures, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, all that. When you're bearing that in your behavior. That's why this is a revolution, behavior revolution. So Yahusha gives us his word so that he wants us to understand how to behave. You know, what's the right way to go? Because he loves us and we're in a battle. And there's an enemy coming at us constantly at our head about all sorts of things, you know, to steer us off the path from that, not to look in there, not to want that. But you remember the state you guys were in before you went in the water, and why you did, because you didn't want all that anymore. You guys feel stronger in yourselves now that you've done that?
Yeah.
Right? But there are mishaps coming and going. So you're in a battle. Maybe you haven't allowed yourself to be that conscious of it. And the fruit, the wheat's planted to grow up, to bear fruit. It's a season. Some people take longer than the season to grow. And if they don't make it in the season to grow and bear the fruit, what's going to happen to it? Winter comes, what's going to happen?
It'll die.
That's it. So we're given a season to work this out. Right? Some people take a long time and they're slow, but you can run the race quicker by understanding behaviour, understanding thoughts, and dealing with them, you know. So it's what you
Put out or sow. Allow yourself to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allow to feed yourself with.
What
Allow
you-
to have
yeah.
to listen to.
Yeah,
Yeah. Allow to reign in your vessel.
that's it.
Whether you've got a balance or whether you're just filling yourself with the world or whether you're just.
Wasn't one of the meanings to let go?
Yeah, go through the meanings again now that we've come to here.
To deposit. So what are you going to deposit in your vessel? To allow to stay.
Good.
To bestow or cast down. To lay up or lay down. So if you're laying up something or you're storing up something in you, to leave off, to let alone, let alone, remain, pacify, place, out, put, set down, suffer, withdraw, withhold, to sever oneself, to be dislocated, to abandon, to impale.
What would you have to abandon?
Yahusha.
Abandon him?
Well,
That would be what most people would say that have walked away from it. They're allowing themselves to abandon him.
Yeah, but the thing
In our case, we're abandoning Satan and his demons.
You're abandoning your life. It means nothing to you anymore. You get no pleasure out of it, so you abandon it.
Well, there's no pleasure in the world,
No.
is there?
No.
And if you get sucked into that, well, you'll find out, because there's always consequences, aren't there?
Yeah.
If you allow yourself to go there.
Yeah. To impale, to allow, to drop to pieces by rotting, be alienated, depart, hang up, or be out of joint, to leave alone, remain, let alone.
So you've got an enemy that's after you, wants to get you, take off you what's deposited in you. You know what it's like to win when you win the point, and everyone in the room knows you've won the point, all the brothers.
fantastic.
How do you feel when you win? And they all know you've won. No second chance. I won. What's the feeling like?
Happy.
You like that feeling? I do too. You can win all the time. You know this word, you'll win in every situation. You'll see that if you behave what that's saying and do it. You know? If you
Allow yourself to.
So you're being hunted. And you have to take up your position. You know about the wheat and the tares, the parable, the weeds and the wheat. Okay, well, there's a scripture that says, a man planted a field of wheat, and at night time an enemy came along, Satan of course, and planted weeds. Now the weeds are called 𝗪𝗓𝗪. They look exactly like wheat when they're growing up. Only difference is the weeds don't bear fruit, because the wheat sort of bends over with the weight of the fruit on it, the fruit from the wheat, and the weeds don't. And the farmer said to the landowner, should we go out and pull the weeds? And he said, well, if you pull the weeds up, you'll pull the wheat out. He said, let them all grow together until harvest time. When harvest comes, we'll separate them and we'll throw the weeds, bundle the weeds up and throw them in the fire and burn it up, and then we'll store the wheat in the barn. Who's the wheat?
Yahusha? We are.
We are. He's the first fruits of the wheat. We are. See? So we're planted in a field, we're sort of hidden. Satan, people think we're just mad religious people, but we're incognito. And Satan can't get us. He's always trying to find the bride and kill her. But Yahusha has us camouflaged in religion, because the Messianics are like a religion. So we're camouflaged in there. Good parable, isn't it? Yeah? So that's how he explained. So who's going in the fire at the end of harvest when the angels come? Yeah, and
And anybody who doesn't.
eh?
People who are unclean and allow themselves to be controlled by Satan.
That's right. How many do you think there are of them?
Millions.
Wow. It's going to be a big fire, isn't it? Yeah, so when we go out into the world, if we have this behaviour, we're going to win all the time. If we don't, we're going to lose, aren't we? But we can, as wheat and chosen people, we can pick ourselves up and keep going. You know? So, what do you think of the word allowed?
There's a lot more in it than we realised. You have a choice. You're allowed to. You're allowed.
Well, it's what we allow ourselves to do or say, because you've got this in your ear all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to compare it with that if you want to win. Otherwise, you're going to be just like a fool, walking around like a fool being used, and you'll get into strife and trouble with people. Won't you?
Definitely.
So can we turn our scriptures over to Galatians chapter 5? Daddy, you read this for us.
Chapter 5.
Yeah.
What's he been talking about? Alright, so Galatians is all about starting a new life and being immersed. Old circumcision, new circumcision, that's kind of the context he's talking about in Galatians. Then he comes to chapter 5. In the emancipation with which Mashiach has made us free, stand firm then. Do not again be held with a yoke of slavery.
What does that mean, Marky?
Well, emancipation means you've been set free. So once you've been made free, don't go back. You've been set free, don't go back and be a slave.
So what will make you a slave? Your
Choice, behaviour, yeah.
good ones, Grace. Yeah.
See, I, Paul, say to you that if you become circumcised, Mashiach shall be of no use to you. And I witness again to every man being circumcised that he is a debtor to do the entire Torah, ceremonial ordinances, or the instructions. He is a debtor to the entire Torah. You who are declared right by Torah have severed yourselves from Mashiach. You have fallen from favour. For we in the Ruach, so he's talking to the Yahudim, the old Jewish rabbis and stuff there, he's talking to the religious teachers there, Pharisees, Sadducees, saying even though they've been circumcised, they've cut themselves off, they've severed themselves from Mashiach, fallen from favour. For we in the Spirit, by belief, eagerly wait for the expectation of obedience. For in Mashiach Yahusha, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision has any strength. In Mashiach Yahusha, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision has any strength, but belief working through love. So it doesn't matter if you've been circumcised or not in the flesh, because it's all about belief working through love. You were running well. Who held you back from obeying the truth?
What does running well mean?
You were being obedient to the instructions, behaving yourselves properly. Who held you back from obeying the truth?
So running in the race, you know, to see if you can beat the season, grow up, bear the fruit before.
Wonderful.
Everyone's growing, all the wheat's growing, and you've got the darnel, the weeds there, putting out a poison gas they do, and they want to choke the true believers with lies. Satan's weapon. Okay? But he can't, because he can't make them die if they stick the real way. You know what I mean? Yeah?
So you were running well. Who held you back from obeying the truth? That persuasion does not come from him who calls you. A little leaven leavens the whole. A little leaven leavens all the lump.
What does that mean,
You allow just a little lie, a little bit of disobedience, just a tiny bit of I'll do what I want, and it spreads through, or a live
Yeast. What happens when
you put a little drop of yeast in a big dough, loaf of bread dough, and it makes the whole bread rise, infects the whole loaf. So a little bit of evil in our behaviour in our life, disobedience, wickedness, affects our whole body, our whole walk, our whole race,
and all those around us?
whole life. Yeah. Yeah, you've heard the expression, you tell a lie and then you've got to tell another lie to cover up that lie, and another lie to cover up that lie, until your whole life is just a lie. It all started from one tiny little stupid lie. That's just an example. So, a little leaven leavens all the lump. I trust in you in the Master that you shall have no other mind. And he who is troubling you shall bear his judgment, whoever he is, over adult male servants. So whoever is troubling you shall bear his judgment, whoever he is. And I, brothers, if I still proclaim circumcision, why am I still persecuted? Then the stumbling block of the stake has been set aside. Oh, that those who disturb you would emasculate themselves. Cut off their nuts. That's what emasculate means. So basically saying, if you've been circumcised, and you're holding and lifting yourself up on that as the be-all and end-all, the stake has been put aside. And what Yahusha did, because he came and he transformed that whole thing. He circumcised our hearts. That's what happens when you're immersed. So for people to go, oh no, you don't need that, I'm just circumcising the flesh, Oh, that those who disturb you would emasculate themselves. For you, brothers, have been called to freedom. Only do not use freedom as an occasion for the flesh, but through love serve one another. So don't use your freedom that Yahusha's given you to be disobedient, to serve your flesh, to pleasure yourself,
So who's behind the flesh, pushing the flesh behaviour? Behaviour of the flesh. He doesn't want your flesh to behave, to choose, to allow yourself to do the word in front of it. Because he hates it. He hates you doing this. And he'll do everything he can to get you away and stop you and upset you and hurt you, make you miserable and go crazy, be at you all the time. If you decide, this is what I'm doing, say no to him, Yeah.
For you, brothers, have been called to freedom, only do not use your freedom as an occasion for the flesh, but through love serve one another. For the entire Torah, entire instruction is completed in one word. In this, you shall love your neighbour as yourself.
So,
We just discussed that, didn't we?
who did?
A week or two ago. Who's your neighbour?
We discussed
Yes.
You can't just love everybody lovey-dovey. Your neighbour is a fellow Israelite, the bride, Yahusha. You be polite and kind to people in your day, but you can't have the same love for them as you can someone in Yahusha, can you? So it's a different kind of love.
So you've got to be polite and kind. Otherwise,
You can get in big trouble. Yeah, the system is ready to...
what would happen if you're not polite and kind to each other? what would happen in the system that we're in?
You can get sued, you can get sent to jail, you can get bashed,
I
you
mean,
can get knifed.
I mean the reign we're in.
You get flogged.
Yeah.
That's it.
You get chastised, disciplined. Something will happen to make you aware, you know?
Yeah.
Usually some sort of a smack.
Consequences.
So that behaviour should be going on amongst all of us, brothers and sisters, all of us in the whole globe. This is what Yahusha is expecting of us, how we should behave towards each other. In our family life, in our home, with our partner, we should be kind, understanding, compassionate, gentle, and loving. If we're letting other things come out of us,
Being used.
and you're allowing that sort of behaviour,
Yeah.
so you're going to get
Consequences of it.
consequences of it. What you sow, you're going to reap.
Yeah.
And you'll find every attempt you make, if you're doing it wrong, is going to come at you. You're going to get a consequence for it. All of us. It's for everyone. Brothers and sisters around the world. It's for them too. Yeah? Go on, Marky.
And if you bite and devour one another, beware, lest you be consumed by one another. That's a consequence.
What does the consumed be mean?
Taken over, destroyed.
Taken over by evil. So you've got to prepare yourself to fight. You've got to allow yourself, this is the truth, I'm doing this. I don't want to go the way of the world because the consequences are not worth it.
Yeah.
Go on.
And I say, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not accomplish the lusts of the flesh. For the flesh lusts after the Spirit, and the Spirit lusts against the flesh.
So you've got a battle going on. The flesh fights the spirit, and the spirit fights the flesh. So we've got a battle going on inside us. You guys know you've got that battle going on inside you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes.
You're involved.
big time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We've got that battle going on inside us. The ones that get through it quick and won't allow the mongrels to use us win. You feel great. You feel wonderful. It's up to you. It's what you allow yourselves. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Go on.
So the Spirit lusts after the flesh, and the flesh is against the Spirit, and these are opposed to each other, so that you do not do what you desire to do.
So you can't do what you want to do because of the battle. Because you're not doing it right. You know?
But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under Torah.
You're not under that law. You're not under that oppression. You're free. You're doing it Yahusha's way. Everything
Works.
works. Yeah. And you win. And you're not miserable. You're so happy because it's just great being a winner. You're not winning the way the world thinks they're winning, but you're winning in a much more cunning, wonderful, exciting way. People get so depressed. All the people we talk to in the salon, they get so depressed because they can't get their way. They've been working things to try and make things happen. Won't work. Because they're doing it in the
Wrong way.
flesh. Okay?
And the works of the flesh are well known.
So works would be called behaviour, that's right.
So the behaviours of the flesh are very well known. Adultery, whoring.
Do you do adultery?
Dirty little boy. You sleep with other people's wives? Sure. Whoring.
So how could Micah be a whore? What would he have to do to become a whore?
Whoring behaviour is anything of a sensual, sexual, what you look at, what you talk about, what you listen to.
How would a whore behave?
A certain behaviour. Loud, crass,
Rude.
no class, no taste, no...
Double cross everyone. Yeah. So you could be a whore if you take on whoring behaviour, couldn't you? Well, we got to look at these things. Am I being a whore? You know? Go on.
Yeah, because there's two brides, isn't there?
Yes.
One's the bride and one's a whore, and it's about behaviour. So the works of the flesh are well known: adultery, whoring, uncleanliness, indecency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Idolatry. Well, indecency can either be indecency as far as being dressed, or as it can be indecency in behaviour. You're not decent.
The verbal stuff, that diarrhea that comes out of some people's mouths.
How would you express 21st century idolatry? Idolatry is the next one. How would you express that, Josiah, in today's age? What do you see going on that's, you can say, oh, that's idolatry? What do you see?
Everyone like worships their phones and stuff.
Yeah?
That's a good one.
And you could say
What
that
else do they
technology.
worship? Other than phones, what else do they worship, Luca? Can you see something that people are worshipping that you can say 21st century? That's idolatry.
What do you often see on Instagram? TikTok, all of those sorts of places. People showing off what? Showing off what? Their bodies. So they're worshipping themselves, aren't they?
Well, that's the thing that goes on today. What else, guys?
Money.
Money, yes. What else?
Well, the major religions, steeples, statues, particularly Middle Eastern countries, they actually have actual statues. But even here it's more subtle. It's more what you see on the TV and your phones. Everyone's glued to those. People double, triple screen now to get as much content into their eyes and ears as they can. You know?
Idolatry is something that people adore, are in love with. They think, oh, that car. So if you can see that, what about that? Oh, it's got diamonds in it. And they just love it. Really. Did you know that's a form of idolatry? Can you see it?
Clothes, could be.
Clothes, fashion. Some people are just fashion places, shopping all the time. Some people adore the mall, shopping mall. So there's a lot of it going around, isn't there? On the advertising, on telly and everything.
All of that is real estate.
Yeah. There's a lot of it going on in our faces. And it's drawing us to want. Yeah?
Big time.
Okay, these are the works of the flesh. These things. Moving on.
So that was whoring, uncleanness, indecency, idolatry, drug, sorcery.
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest industry in the world today.
Yeah.
$1 trillion drug, sorcery, hatred. Hatred, that's an obvious one. People hate each other. You know, you have to look sideways at someone on the freeway and they'll knife you. You know,
Or in the bedroom.
in the bedroom, outside, or yeah, definitely in the bedroom. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sometimes
smack
they,
you in the face while you're
sometimes
sleeping.
they must dream hatred.
These are the works of the flesh. This is how Satan works through us. Doesn't he? He works through us through these things.
Quarrels,
Yeah.
yep, jealousies. It's obvious, jealousy. Fits of rage, yep. Everyone's in a rage now. Selfish ambitions, dissensions. That's divisions and fights and arguments. Factions, same. Envy, just like jealousy. Murders.
The next one's Luca's favourite.
Drunkenness.
Wild parties.
Wild parties.
Yeah, that's what we keep hearing from these kids. They want to throw wild parties.
Wild parties.
Remember, this was written 2,000 years ago. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And see, things haven't changed a lot, have they? When we look, and you guys are growing up and going out into the world and you're subjected to all this. Is that fair?
No.
You have to beat it, you have to win and not go in there. You know what I mean? And overcome and win. It's great to win. These are the works of the flesh, guys, that are coming after you. They want to get you and they want to destroy you. And I don't think you've realised the seriousness of that. They really want you dead. They hate you. And you'll feel that hatred come through other people. But if you're cunning, you're able to dodge in and out. Yeah? Go on, Mikey.
So all those things and the like. So all those list of behaviours was just an example, and the like, of which I forewarned you, even as I also said before, that those who practice such as this shall not inherit the reign of Yahuwah. So you do all those behaviours, you can't inherit the reign of Yahuwah.
Okay, Josiah, can you read it?
But the fruit of the Ruach is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no Torah.
So if you're in that behaviour, nothing can touch you. If you're in that behaviour, no one can get you. They may say things, but they're not going to get you. Oh, they got me. Oh, she got me. But if you're in that behaviour, nothing can get you. So it's up to us to stay in those behaviours. Did you know this, guys? Okay, so this is how you're going to win every situation. But you've got to call on those. You've actually got to allow yourself to choose, I'm going to be kind here. I'm going to be peaceful here. I'm going to show love. I'm joyous here. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you, brothers and sisters, to allow yourself this behaviour. Now, if you don't allow yourself this behaviour, what's going to happen?
You've got the works of the flesh.
You're up that creek.
All the other behaviours.
What's going to happen?
You'll die.
Yes? Or you'll get?
Flogged and goaded.
That's it.
Chastised.
And there's a bit more there, Josiah.
And those who are of Mashiach have staked the flesh with its passions and the desires. If we live in the Ruach, let us also walk in the Ruach. Let us not become conceited, provoking one another, envying one another.
So this is the behaviour Yahusha wants his body, his bride, globally to behave. That must be emanating from us to each other, brothers and sisters. That must be coming out of us towards each other. Now you can't give this, it's like throwing your pearls to swine to someone that's not a believer. But you can always show kindness to them.
Yeah.
You choose the fruits that you're going to give, the behaviour you're going to give. So you've got the works of the flesh and the works of the spirit. And it's up to you to allow ourselves to give that out each time. If you don't give that out, when you're called out, Yahusha calls you out to a behaviour, to a warfare. If you don't start practicing the warfare, you're just going to fall asleep from the poison of the weeds. The 𝗩𝗜𝗏 is just going to make you go to sleep. So you're not having a life. If Satan's got you doing the works of the flesh, you're not having a life. You're dead. You're dead inside and you feel miserable and yucky. So it's up to us to fight this insanity that's out there. It's up to us to allow ourselves to realise this is going on. It's not going to stop until he returns. Because that's what evil is. It's unrepentant. It won't stop. It keeps doing evil over and over and over again. And it's going to keep coming at you to break you, to make you give in, to be miserable and hurt and upset. And he's got you right where he wants you. Sucks you in. Oh, this is nice, isn't it? Look at this. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, look at that. And all of a sudden, bang, right in your heart, you get an arrow. Because he's tricked you. After you've been through a few of those, you say, oh, after this, I'm sick of this. I don't want this anymore. You start to recognise the spirits in high places, how they use people. Like if you speak to a Catholic, you're going to get a certain behaviour at you. If you speak to a Muslim, you're going to get a certain behaviour. If you speak to an unbeliever, you're going to get a certain behaviour. And there's only 2 languages in the world, so it's very easy and you can quickly recognise lies or truth. This is the word of Yahuwah. This is the truth. Yeah? And so, if anyone's against that, you know, bang straight away what you're dealing with. How easy is that? You think, I'm not going there with this bloke. I'm not going there with this Sheila. You know what I mean? So you've got to realise that you don't judge anyone. I mean, it's not our right to judge. We don't have, now that we've staked our old man under the water, we don't have the right to react in a fleshy way towards someone. We don't have the right, because he hasn't given us, this is how he wants us to behave. Fruits of the Spirit, not the works of the flesh. Because we're representing him, and if we say we have him in us and our behaviour isn't like the fruit of the Spirit, what are we?
Lions.
Yeah, lions. Yeah. So it's up to us to fight the battle to get to the place where we're going to beat this. So we can be in his favour. We can feel that he's happy with us, he loves us. He already does, but, you know, next time you're ready to be harsh towards somebody, pull yourself back. Use the 3 rules, they help,
Yeah.
don't they? They really help you. Am I letting this person have it, or am I judging this person? Talk to yourself. No way. Talk to Yahusha in you. Yeah. So it's all up to us if we're going to allow ourselves the right that we think we've got to say something, do something. You know? Do you guys know that I haven't got the right to be angry at you? If you did something dreadful, I'd say, oh, stop that, that's really not good. But I can't judge you, you know why? This it really made me so angry. Yahusha told me after reading all this, I have to let Victoria have it. Whatever she wanted, he said to me, this is your test, Chris. I thought, oh no. And I went through agony, letting her have everything she wanted and what she said. And then I started to see her, oh, she didn't get that right. She wouldn't say anything or give in. You know, she was having what she wanted. And other people, you do that too as well. You get really strong inside and you think, there's no way I'm going to give in. Why aren't I going to give in? Why am I going to let Victoria have it? Why aren't I going to give in?
Because if you do give in, you'll be flogged and goaded.
How do you feel when you get flogged and goaded?
Horrible.
It's the worst feeling. I hated it. And I had such a big mouth, guys. I got flogged and goaded and chastised and disciplined. Oh, it was so hard to go through. But I hope you guys are young. You haven't started your journey in full yet. I mean, you're just realising this now. But if you allow yourself, like I did, and I just don't want to judge anyone or do anything. It says, judge not, lest you be judged. We can't judge anybody because it'll come back on us. What you put out comes back on it. And just a quick little the pain, I didn't like that pain. Do you like it? Yeah? Yeah? It's hideous, isn't it? I can't stand that pain. So, we're in a battle. And Satan fights like a demon, because he is. And he fights with hatred and wickedness. And he wants to get you and stop you from achieving the fullness that Yahusha has for you, to grow up and bear the fruit. And it's all about fruit, it's all about be
Thank you.
spot on. Spot on. So, the people are watching now. Anybody got anything they'd like to say about this lesson? That you can help people overseas that might be going through the battle that you guys are going through. You've got any encouraging words for them?
Stick in there. Don't give up, guys.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Stick in there, guys. What about you two? What would you like to encourage the people overseas?
About the journey that you're on, how far you've come, and helping them to see, because a lot of people overseas are just starting their journey, and some have been on it for a long time, but they don't understand all the things you guys understand. So,
Don't allow yourselves to be used by demons.
Oh, good boy. That's great.
It's that real. It's that real. The battle is that real. Most people don't wake up facing that it's going to be a battle. And they're offended if they're confronted by anything that's battle-like. Something that they have to overcome You're ruining my day. Like, no, this is what your day is supposed to be. It's a battle. So we need to face that. Just because you can't see them, they're there. You can see them on people's faces all day, every day. The minute you flick your eyes open, they're there. And everyone. You can see it, you can feel it. And what you allow is what you give yourself the right to judge is how you feel in it. It's that real.
Well, thanks, brothers and sisters. It's been great spending this time with you. Thank you, boys. We really appreciate what you've done and been here and helped. And we love you. And we'd like to say goodbye. Have a great one.
Bye. Bye-bye.